Hello, everyone, and welcome to Decoding Cannabis, the podcast in which we're trying to figure out how does cannabis impacts our consciousness? Why does it do what it does to our perception of time, to our perception of space, to our senses? In the last few episodes, we kind of took a detour and we're speaking a lot about cannabis dependency. A part of it is because it's just such an important topic, and a part of it is because I think that in the cannabis industry we don't talk a lot about cannabis dependency, and I think it's extremely important to deal with that. And a couple of episodes ago, I spoke to Dawn, who decided to take Consciously High, the online program that I have, in order to regain command on our cannabis use. For those who don't know it, it's on weedoutthehabit.com. And Dawn and I agreed that we're going to do this. She's going to do this program, and I'm going to walk her through it here on the podcast. So we have an extremely brave individual who is not only doing this herself for the first time, but she's actually exposing the process to you, the listeners, so that you can understand how it works and what she's going through. So let's begin.
Oh, look at me. I'm the crooked branch hanging off of my family tree. When I'm gone, will I be who I was before, or will I be another me?
Hello, Dawn. How are you?
I'm good.
Excellent. Let's test our connection. Say something. First of all, where are you physically?
I'm right now. I'm in my car at the moment, and I'm hoping that this connection will be will work, because I think it kind of times out a little bit. So I apologize if that's the case. But yes, I'm in my car because I just needed to have a little privacy and wanted to feel like comfortable that I had that space to have this conversation.
Excellent. And since this is a podcast, let's go ahead and disable your video,
Okay.
because then we know we're giving the sound everything that we have. Yeah. Okay. So the program Consciously High is a minimum of 3-week cannabis break. So there's a week prep. It's a 4-week program. So there's a week prep, and then a break starts. And Dawn, you are on day 7 of the program, which means starting tomorrow, you're not smoking cannabis. You're not consuming cannabis. Am I correct?
That is correct. Yep.
How does it feel? So first of all, let's give, for those who haven't listened to the episodes 2 episodes ago and listening just to this one, can you give the listeners a little bit of background? How long have you been smoking? How big a deal is this for you? Yeah, can you hear me? I can't hear you. Okay, now I can
hear you. I'm sorry about the connection.
Okay.
It feels I've been feeling very anxious about this whole thing. I've been going through the steps in the first week, and it's been very helpful. But this morning I kind of was having some anxiety, but kind of that excitement at the same time. It's like that in between, that worry and excitement. So I'm looking forward to this journey. There's things I'm not looking forward to as well, but I'm hoping, and I'm going to trust the process, that things are going to unfold as they should in the best way.
So what are you excited about?
Well, I'm excited to just to well, for one, to do what I say I'm going to do and follow through. I think that in itself is a good feeling. And I because I know that feeling. I've done it before with other things, and so I'm excited for that. I'm excited for regaining some clarity, just personally for decisions that I need to make, and to be there for my son, in a more aware way. And it just, and that feeling of waking up in the morning and not having a stuffed up nose or a cough or that kind of thing, that always reminds me of like, no, I got to stop what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So those things I'm looking forward to.
Mm. Excellent. And how long have you been smoking? Um, give us perspective of the magnitude of this break, and how long with Consciously High, where um, everybody gets to decide for how long they're gonna break the habit, and 3 weeks is the minimum. Have you decided how long you're going to do this for? And so just for it to get perspective on how big a deal this is for you.
Yeah, so I have been consuming cannabis one way or another, majority of my life. It's been over 22 plus years. Started off, early on. My relationship with cannabis started early on in childhood. Not that I was smoking it, but that that my introduction to it and exposure to it. But I started to pick it up as a habit in my late teens, and I've used it as a tool, and I've used it as a
I lost you there for a second. I heard I've used it as a tool and
practice.
okay, now you're back.
I'm
Last
back.
we heard was I've used it as a tool and
I've used it as a tool. I've used it as a crutch,
as a crutch,
and
right?
it's been a part of my life every day. I mean, there's been breaks I've taken in between over the 22 years, but um, that just more of like a cold turkey break of, without any kind of plan, and didn't last as long as I'd hoped. And um, so I've made attempts. So I know how it feels to finally take a break. But I'm interested in reestablishing a healthier relationship with
Mm.
cannabis, as what the program offers. And so I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to that personally.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I agree. There's a place of freedom in the ability to use cannabis only when needed. And I'll give you an example from my own life. I'm giving a lot of lectures as of late as a part of my role here in Israel. I'm the vice president of the Israeli Institute for Science and Technology, and representing my own institute in the United States. And I'm giving a lot of lectures, and I'm also writing at this particular point. And I can't really smoke cannabis as I do these activities because I'm impacted by it. I get up in the morning. I'm just groggy, and yet I have cannabis right here in the house. This morning I woke up and I had so much anxiety. There was something that was going on with whatever that was going on. Whatever. There's always a reason, right? And I had so much anxiety, and I was trying to like, no, I don't want to smoke. I got a lecture coming on Thursday. Don't want to smoke. I like to be clear for at least 2 weeks before a lecture, and I lecture every month. And so 2 weeks out of the month, I want to be cannabis free, which, and this morning I was like, you know what? I can't, I can't focus. I can't write, like, okay, it's all about moderation. And so I took a small hit of a specific strain that I know calms me down, but allows me to focus. And in the past, I remember in the days when I would smoke a lot, I would, the second I would take one hit, I would take a little more because I really want to have fun, and I don't want to just quiet the mind. I want to actually enjoy myself, right? And then 2 hours later, when it starts dropping, I would do it again, and it would just like turn into this thing. And now in my process, months and years after, as I regained my command over the substance, I was able to take a little hit, to literally use it as a medicine, because that's what I wanted today. And here I am talking to you. I have no side effects. It's been 8 hours since I've used that little bit, and I had a great day. I was very productive. And so to me, this is the goal. The goal is to be able at any given time to be the decision maker, because that's what you are. You are the decision maker, and not to let the little kid, the little child, the inner child rule the show, and to always say, no, 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 I want it. Now I want it. And that's what we're striving for, that level of command, that level of responsibility and moderation when it comes to usage. And I'm assuming that's what you're looking for.
Right. I you cut out a little bit on that. I really apologize with the connection here.
That's okay.
So I think I missed like the last few seconds of what you were saying.
But
I
you
don't know
got
if you
the
asked me
gist
a
of it. You
question.
got the point of it. Of like, I'm assuming
Yeah.
I was saying that this. I'm assuming this is the level of command that you're striving for. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So tell me about that first week. The listeners don't necessarily know what's going on in the program. What was helpful? Maybe what was not. That's okay too to say. How did you feel like you were prepping for this break? Did you smoke a lot this week because you knew you were going to stop? You know, things like that.
Well, typically, yeah, I would smoke a lot more than, knowing I'm going to stop. But this time around, I actually didn't have that much on hand, and I didn't want to re-up and get more because I knew I'd have.
I lost you again, Dawn.
And I'm back.
Yes, you're
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I can see if it cuts out, and I'll hold off and just continue my conversation when it returns. Yeah, so I didn't actually, because I was trying to ration it so I could spread it out and have enough to last me. I do have some sublingual stuff left, which doesn't really work all that. Well, my tolerance is so high at this point that it takes a lot for me to even make a difference.
Wow.
So I don't even use the edibles and sublinguals anymore. They don't do much for me unless I use a lot. But I do have some of that on hand, and I plan to give that over to someone else who will take it away from me, and I won't have anything on hand by tomorrow morning.
Excellent. So that's a part of the process of preparation. Prepare your environment. Any
Yes.
other activities you were doing in the first week that were helpful for you?
Yeah, the journaling prompts were helpful. I liked the writing the letter, the thank you letter to cannabis. I think that was a great idea. It was a good way to start off the week. So that was good. And just coming up, thinking about what am I going to do in those moments of need, and to how am I going to spend my time that I would normally be spending altered. So now it's a new, I have more time available, so I have more things to fit within that schedule.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I'm curious. What did you tell cannabis in that letter? What were you thankful for?
A lot of things, actually. There's I wrote, it's like a 3-page letter that I wrote.
Wow.
I don't know if did you want me to read the letter, or is it?
Hey, if you're willing to share, I'll take it. You don't necessarily have to read it all, but maybe selected parts, because I think I'm interested if you're willing.
Pretty sure I just got cut off. Okay, now I'm back.
Yes.
Okay. I'll read parts of the letter. I hope I can get through it without getting emotional. I have to warn you, because
it's okay to get emotional. On the contrary, it's that's the moment when we release energies that don't serve us more. So feel free, and if I was there with you, I would hand you a tissue. So feel free.
Okay. And I hope that this connection lasts up through the letter. I will try to pace it in case it does cut out.
Okay, I'm all ear.
So this was day 1. Dear Mary Jane, this letter is to let you know that it's time for us to take a break. But before we do, I want to let you know how much I've appreciated having you around. I met you when I was 5 years old. At the time, I didn't know who you were, or that we would eventually become such close friends. I did notice you were very popular and already seemed to have a lot of friends. Actually, you've always been great at bringing together people from all walks of life who share a common interest, and that's you. Just your very scent can take me through a myriad of memories and emotions, some good, some bad, and some just blah. I realize how you've always been there for me in my darkest moments, never judging me, always ready to soothe me when there was no one else available or capable. You've been more reliable and dependable than my own father. I think you know him well too.
Take your time, Dawn. It's okay.
I'm like shaking now. Not
okay.
only have you been there in my in my darkest moments, you've also been there to celebrate achievements too. Or lending a gentle shoulder to cry on when I've been in physical pain, or even worse, emotional pain and anxiety. I've never found any substance, practice, or ritual as quick and as effective as you. Let's also not forget the creative tangents and moments of inspiration you've given me within my art and my music, helping me expand my mind and consciousness. Even though you've provided all these wonderful benefits over the last 20 plus years, I must admit I've started to see some negative consequences emerge, mainly because I became too attached to you, too dependent to make me feel better, make me forget the bad, or just numb me so I don't have that feeling at all. I've also given too much of myself to you when I'm not emotionally available enough for my son, who very much needs me now. Hold on. He needs a mom who is attentive and consistent, who remembers things, who's not always distracted thinking about the next time you and I will hang out. Also, I want to teach my son how to live and think positively, and it's hard for me to do when I'm feeling guilty and ashamed of our relationship. I'm starting to see how my son has developed addictive tendencies with his video games, and often find myself lecturing him on this habit, realizing that he is just projecting back to me what I need to look at and resolve in myself. Also, I've been dealing with physical irritations in my sinuses and lungs because I rely on you too much. I need to allow my body to heal and recover for my mind to reach a state of clarity, and this is something that I must do on my own. So I thank you for all your support and comfort all these years, for your companionship and love. You have been standing in as the parent or guardian of my inner child for the most of my life, but it's now time for me to be there for her. I'm ready to show up for her, to comfort her, and to lead her to success. In order for me to do this, I need to have...
Dawn? I'm sure she'll be back with us in just a moment. Dawn?
I'm here. Sorry. I got cut out.
I'll tell you where. You got cut out in...
Yeah,
okay.
So I was at the point to show up for her, to comfort her and lead her to success.
Yes.
In order for me to do this, I need to have my clarity back. So with great thanks and appreciation for all that you are and have been for me, I kindly ask you to release me. Allow me to leave the safety of your nest and discover that I have my own wings to fly. No more whispering gently to me, reminding me you're there. Just let me figure it out on my own. Thank you for all your love and support, but it's now time for us to say goodbye for a while. I might come to visit on holidays and special occasions, but I need my own personal space in between. I trust that you understand this and will honor my wish. Until next time, stay the same sweet Mary Jane. Best regards, Dawn.
Wow, I have goosebumps all over.
I'm shaking. I don't know. That was really hard for me, but I wanted to share that. I guess, I mean, I'm
still having goosebumps. You are a brave soul, first of all, for sharing it. But I want to remind you that the more we share, the more we transform. And people who have not discovered the power of the microphone don't know what they're missing. And so this is a monumental moment, because here you are, you've placed your intention to the universe in front of all these witnesses. And I'm here to tell you, Don, I am a witness to your intention. I'm a witness to your request. And I'm in awe of this letter. It's obviously came from the heart. By the way, you're an excellent writer. Um, you're an excellent writer, and I really enjoyed uh, the writing, in itself. And yeah, very powerful, extremely powerful. And obviously, you've thought of it a lot, and I think you're ready. I think you're ready for this break.
I am.
Yeah,
I mean, it's hard and it's scary, but I know I'm ready. And I know this last week with this program has been very helpful in preparing me. I have to say that I think, and I like that the pace of the program is just, it's not too much. Just each day is a little something that gets you thinking and
yeah.
keeps it in your mind, in the forefront, and also in the background. So it's that, I think that helps prepare.
Excellent, excellent. And this program is evolving. So here you are, and we're doing this, live here. And so if you see things throughout the program that you think can be better, please tell me right here on podcast, because I'm not perfect either, and I learn new things from every person who's taking the program. And so I want to make it better. I want to ask you, did you decide how long you're going to take a break for?
Yes. And I had really thought of, I even emailed you yesterday because I was having a little trouble figuring that out, because I was
Yeah.
panicking as far as, because I know I can do 3 weeks. I can do that. I've done that before. But I personally need to take a longer break to achieve what I want to achieve, And so
Yes.
I was kind of struggling, afraid that I would, mess up or break my word. And so I did email you, and we had some exchange about that, and I decided to also do some journaling and figure, why am I feeling, why is this so hard for me to pick a date and that kind of thing. And that was part of me, like, realizing I'm just afraid of letting myself down, and a few other things came up. And after that, I decided that I'm going to start with 3 months. I think 3 months is a good amount of time for me. I think it's realistic, and it'll be enough time to see where, just to see who I am, on the other side.
Yeah. I applaud you, because I'm working with someone actually here in Israel who's doing 12 weeks, 3 months. And he is, in fact, I'm going to pull up, just to encourage you, I'm going to pull up things that he told me in terms of the impact that he feels this had on his life. Would that be of interest to you?
Oh, sure. Yeah,
All right, let's see.
definitely.
So here, and I know he's good with me sharing this. So this is on week 4th. So this is in the 5th week. No, he's entering the 4th week, the second months. He's saying, you there?
Yes, I'm here. That it did cut out for a second
Yeah.
though, but I'm back.
He's saying, first of all, he went back to dreaming. He loves that. He's saying that he has no desire for cannabis. The second he started the journey, a few days of cravings, and then just knowing that he has no way of breaking his word, the desire disappeared. He says he feels strange not to even think about it. He feels like he has a lot more time. When he struggles with his wife, he has a much clearer mind, and so he's not falling into these patterns of anger. Easier for him to think about things and access. I'm translating from Hebrew, so excuse me for being, a little bit slow here.
That's fine.
My anger calmed down. Wow, I'm really translating bad here, but it's a little hard. Let's see what else. He feels stronger as a person, more awake to his environment, to his feelings, to words that he's promising outside of cannabis, and knowing it's like, oh, I'm saying it, that means I'm going to do it. He's not ignoring things in his life like before and saying, yeah, it's going to be fine. Lo nizrak, how would I translate that? In the past, I guess nizrak means it's like in the past, he would just like throw himself on a couch and just like, oh, now I'm chilling out, sort of like in the middle of the day when he's supposed to work, and he's not doing that anymore. He feels more energetic, less sort of like mitlahem is like excited like a little kid. Like he had these peaks of excitement that were like fake because he was smoking, and there's this fake euphoria that happens sometimes. He found different ways to, even when he, like, for example, somebody's arguing with him about 5G or about the coronavirus, and he finds that he's talking to somebody with a different political point of view, that now he's listening a lot more. He's more compassionate. He listens to the other better. He doesn't wake up tired in the morning. With his kid, that might be interested, he finds, let's see, oh yeah, he's saying that he feels like he has a lot more patience, and he is more under. Did you miss that? You got cut off?
I did miss a little bit of that.
Yeah. Okay. So he's saying with his child, he has a son, a 2-year-old son. He says that he finds a lot more common with his son now. He has more patience, more understanding the feelings of his kid, because he's more focused on the kid rather than on what he's feeling in that moment. In his professional life, he feels that sometimes he's missing the creativity that cannabis has given him, but he feels a lot more, that he does a lot more. And so the creativity, sometimes he feels like he's having a hard time accessing the, I'm trying to translate, the place of, what's the word I'm looking for? Wow. It's like when I'm switching to Hebrew, it's like my mind switches to the other hemisphere, and it's hard for me to sometimes go back. The ingenuity, the innovation, he's missing a part of the innovation. He's a jeweler. So, he sometimes had a hard time creating new things, but he feels like he's a lot more productive in his work. And so he's fine with that. Easier to communicate with others and with his wife. And he says that his wife looks at him differently because she didn't believe that he'll stop. He was so identified with cannabis. It was a part of his personality, and smoked for 16 years straight. And he says that she looks at him differently because she just like admires the fact that he did it. So that's the feedback he's given me on week 4. And he's now in week 10, and approaching the end of his break. And so it's pretty cool. I love this guy. He's an awesome guy. Yeah.
That's great. I hope that I'll be saying a lot of the same things when,
no matter what happens, you'll come back and talk about it, and it's okay. It doesn't matter what happens. The fact is that you're doing it. So right. This is it. You're here and you're facing it. And there's going to be people who are going to be listening to this podcast and are going to be drawing inspiration and power from what you're doing. And so I applaud you. Yeah. Every time you get cut off, I see the blinking of the icon.
Yeah, it just keeps saying connecting. I really apologize. Next time I'll make sure I have a better connection. I didn't think it was going to be this bad, but hopefully it's not too annoying for the listeners.
No, we're doing it. Okay. Also in the first week, I encourage people to do some kind of a ritual. There has to be like a moment in which you're saying, okay, it's starting. Do you have, like, when are you stopping you're smoking altogether? For you right now, it's Sunday morning. So are you still smoking today? When are you doing your last puff or whatever? Have you done it already? What's the schedule?
Tonight. I'm more of an evening smoker.
Excellent.
Is how, usually an after 5 kind of person, but on the weekends sometimes a little earlier. But I don't have very much on hand, like I said, and yeah, it'll be tonight, and then tomorrow morning will definitely be the official start for me.
Excellent. And did you choose a word in the process? I guide people, I'm saying that for the listeners, to define a word, an actual word or words that are going to be like, for example, for me, it's I vow. When I say I vow, I mean business. Do you have a word?
Yeah, so I tried on a few different words yesterday. I was going through that process to see what felt right for me, because I did, in the past I've used the expression of I swear on someone's life, something like that, and I saw in one of the videos you had mentioned that maybe that's not the best word to use just in case something happens, or and after I thought about it, I'm like, yeah, I don't really want to go there, and so I thought of different, I promise, I vow, I swear, all of them. I looked up the definitions of them just to get a better understanding to see what resonates more with me. And I do know, the I swear still works for me, but instead of I swear on this or I swear on that, I decided that I wholeheartedly swear.
Oh, I
because
love
that's
that.
something that's meaningful to me. It feels.
I love that. I love that. I wholeheartedly swear, because in the past you probably said I swear and didn't do it. And to say something slightly different is very smart. And to say I wholeheartedly swear, it gives it an emotion. And I love it. I love it. That's a great term. I never heard that before, and I love it.
Yeah, so that I think that's going to work for me. And then I did use the same intention that you had, as far as a suggestion to write down. I just reworded that part of it, but I really liked everything that you said in that example, and I'm gonna stick with that because it kind of touches on all the points. So it's
Yeah.
really great.
Excellent. Wow, that's awesome. That's excellent. So tonight you're gonna do your little ritual and you're gonna say the words, and then it's gonna start. And did you prepare various activities so that if you have a moment of, like weakness or feeling that you need to smoke, what are you gonna do instead?
Well, I made a list, and I've got to,
I think I lost you, but if you have it, I would love to hear. And you're back.
And I'm back.
Yeah. So I would love to hear your
just
list.
enough time to pull my list out.
Yeah. Excellent.
So my list, I've got, this isn't in any particular order. I just wrote it all down. I can go for a walk with my son. We both got Fitbits for Christmas, and now we're going to track our steps. And, so that's the motivation there. I can do meditation. I love to meditate. I've been doing a lot of visualization and meditations that have been helpful. So I think that will be good for anytime I'm feeling triggered. Those really rough times will help. I started painting again. I paint acrylic paintings, and I haven't done it for years. And in these last 2 weeks, I started, and I've been doing a painting a day so far for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I'm going to continue, because painting is something that I get lost in it. I lose track of time, and it just really makes me happy. So that's something that will be a good filler of my time. I'll practice yoga. I've been practicing yoga for several years now, but I've kind of fallen off here and there. But that's also an option. I also resort to tapping, or emotional freedom technique. I'm not sure if anyone is familiar with that, but it's a method of using tapping certain areas of meridians within your body to help kind of calm down your nervous system. So I have that as a backup. And
tapping is powerful. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Tapping is powerful. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I've used it many times, and actually times when I've had to travel out of country and I couldn't bring any cannabis with me and had those moments of anxiety. Tapping has helped, so I know that's a good tool to fall back on. I can call a friend or family member, if I need someone to talk to, or I might email you
Yes,
as
please.
and then I can also, learn a new song. I'm a musician. I can learn a new song or write a new song, and just, focus in those areas of being creative, which I feel is my
Yeah.
true authentic self. So.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Are you taking this opportunity? One of the things I say is I say that for some people, it's easier to turn this period instead of, for a period of like, oh, it's a period in which I don't smoke cannabis, rather to turn it into a period of like a healthy, like I'm doing something for my health. So for a lot of people, it's very helpful to add something to say, oh, I'm not going to smoke cannabis and I'm going to do yoga, or I'm going to go to the gym or whatever, or I'm not going to drink alcohol. Well, most people don't when they do the break. But do you have anything in addition that you're doing to the cannabis break?
Yeah, so I will definitely get back into yoga more often. I think that will be my
3, 2, 1, and she'll be back, I'm sure. If the pattern is always the same, and she's back, and there you are.
Yeah. So I think after work, my routine will be, because normally 5 o'clock rolls around and it's time to take a puff. And instead, I'm either going to go for a walk or I'm going to do a yoga practice. And I think that will be enough to release that energy that I'm trying to deal with in that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm going to get back into, I've always had healthy eating habits, not always, but for at least the last like 5 or 6 years, I've maintained pretty healthy eating habits. But I've kind of fallen off during this quarantine. So I'm going to get back into my routine. I used to juice every morning and
Oh, wow.
no gluten, no dairy, all of that. So
Yeah.
that is not a difficult thing for me to do. It's something I'm familiar with. And so I plan to get back onto that track as well.
Wow. You have really done your homework. I have to say, my hat is off to you, Dawn. And I got to tell you, you're ready. You're ready for this. And
I am.
I'm here for you. And so 12
Thank
weeks,
you.
good for you. And I'm here for you all throughout this time. We don't have to meet every week. I would love to meet with you next week because it's the beginning and I want to hear how it is. The first week for some people is the easiest. For some people is the hardest. For some people it's so. It'll be great if you're available to meet again. We'll talk about that offline and schedule. But I'm sure there's going to be listeners who want to know how you're doing. And I got to tell you, I think you're ready.
Yes, I am. And yeah, I think next week would be a good time to meet and reassess where I'm at.
Excellent. Same time, same place.
Yes.
Wonderful. Is there anything else I can do for you at this point of the process?
I don't think so. I think that, we've covered a lot, and yeah, I have to say, just reading that letter just earlier in the discussion was somewhat, cathartic there.
Cathartic.
I feel a big release. I can feel it like in my throat and chest area of just,
Yeah.
An opening. So that was actually really good. It felt odd and vulnerable.
And we lost you again, but she'll be back. That's the power of the word. That's the power of sharing. And you're back. Yeah.
I'm back. I promise next time I'll make
That's
sure
okay.
I have a good
You sound lighter. Yeah. If you turn on your video, I bet you look lighter too.
I'm smiling, like I it's not that nervous feeling. It definitely helped release some of that nervous energy. So yeah. That was it was good, and I'm glad I did it. Even though I'll probably listen back to it and feel strange, but
yeah,
it's okay. Yeah. It's all part of the process.
It's a part of the process, and the more you let go, that feeling strange is also cathartic. Let yourself feel strange. It always feels weird to hear ourselves on tape. God knows I've recorded podcasts that I was just out there. I have one that I'm crying. And it's just the way it is. And every time I've exposed myself, I've cleansed. It was cathartic, just like you said. And so good for you for doing this. And you're going to feel that impact. And I think that this step alone was fundamental in preparing you for it. So
Yeah.
excellent.
And I just wanted to say too, because I know after I listened back to the first podcast we did a few weeks back, and I know I emailed you about this too, but it kind of threw me for a loop. I was thinking like, wow, is that me? Is that really who I am? It was just a really strange feeling. I'd never listened back to myself in that capacity before. And I went into a little depression for a few days, and was not, I didn't like where it took me. And it had all these weird mixed feelings. And
she'll be back with us in a second.
I'm back.
Yes.
And it wasn't until you shared some feedback from one of the listeners and I read it, and it was inspiring for me to hear their words, and it definitely lifted me up and gave me that extra boost that I needed to, pick myself up and dust myself off and say, this is the choice I'm making, and this is what I want. And it was helpful. So whoever that listener was, I thank you for your kind words. It was very helpful for me.
And you know what? In fact, I'm going to read what she wrote. So this is one of the people the other people who wanted to do the course, and she wrote as follows. She says, on the podcast with Dawn, thank you so much for sharing this within the group. She's in the Facebook group. I found it incredibly helpful and motivating. So much of what she talks about deeply resonates with me. I found her words to be honest and brave, and I wish her all the very best. I'm excited to be restarting the program alongside Dawn. We may not always be in sync, as I'll be going through the days at my own pace, but it's massively helpful to know that there's someone out there who's going through something very similar at the same time. And she's then thanking me for creating the Facebook group and so on and so forth. And so, yes, people listen, and people are inspired. And when we think that something that we've said, it happened to me so many times that I've created some content and I've put it out there and I felt so exposed. And then somebody, months later will come to me and said, oh my God, I listened to you speaking in so-and-so about so-and-so, and it changed my life, or it really impacted me. And I'm like, really? And it's like, yeah, this is just the way it is. So I'm in awe of your passion, bravery, and the seriousness that you're taking this. You can't fail if that's the attitude. You just can't. So, and I'm here for you all the way through.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. So we'll talk again next week. Dawn, good luck tonight. And celebrate this. This is a monumental moment, because once you do this, you will not be the same person. You will have a different relationship to your word. I wholeheartedly swear. You'll have a different relationship to the inner child that you have within you. This program is about developing the inner adult, the person within you that is always in control, that is always allows the inner child to let go of control sometimes, but only when it's appropriate. And this is what you're doing. So good for you. And congratulations on your path to becoming consciously high.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this podcast. Decoding Cannabis is brought to you by Consciousness Research Institute, Creorg Institute. You can find us on the web, criorg.institute. And please contact me if you have any feedback, anything that you want to talk about, and if Dawn's story is inspiring to you. And if you want to find the program, again, it's on weedoutthehabit.com. And thank you so much for listening, and smoke responsibly.
nothing. Oh,